were so many viewpoints. It was so nice. And then at night we saw this huge lizard. This video does not do it justice. It was way bigger than it looked. And then this was another day. Here we are in Tejakula at our hotel. It is directly by the beach and it was absolutely beautiful. So we just had our breakfast from the buffet while we waited for our friends that we met on the trip to come join us. So our plan for the day was to drive about an hour along the coast to Aling Waterfall. So we had a few technical difficulties in the beginning. Our friends' moped wouldn't start, so they had to get a new one. And because our tank was empty, we decided to just grab some gas and then head on back to the hotel once they got their new scooter. So this is the drive. It was absolutely beautiful. It was like really remote. And honestly, none of the locals even knew the hotel, so that was pretty cool, I guess. So there are a bunch of tiny little gas stations. There's literally seldom a point where we had to worry if we were going to make it to a gas station in time. And gas here is also very cheap. The prices have gone up about 30%, but it's still very much affordable. So this was like 23,000 Indonesian rupiah, which is about like 150 or so. And as you can see, everyone here is so incredibly nice. You can smile and always expect smiles in return. It is absolutely amazing. So on the way to Aling Waterfall, we had to stop by a clinic for our friend because he had an ear infection. And these are just some offerings and also a cockroach. You're welcome. So then we made our way to the Aling Waterfalls, or Sambangkang, I believe it's called, which is about, I think it's 8 waterfalls and a bunch of cute doggies also. So we had to take a tour guide, or in our case 2, and we also got a free bottle of water. I think we took the short tour. There are 3 different types of tours, and our tour was about, I think it was like €6.50 per person, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a short hike down, and the thing that I loved about these waterfalls is that there was a bunch of cliff jumping. So this was the 5-meter cliff jump spot. This is actually me jumping from 10 meters, which you totally can't see that I landed in the water, but I did. And this is me jumping from 15 meters or 16. They weren't exactly sure, but it was very fun. You best believe it was very fun. So then after that, we went on the other short walk to the actual Aling Waterfall, which apparently you're not allowed to swim in because it is considered sacred to the Balinese people. By the way, there was this girl in front of us who had like a huge wound on her back, and we asked her what was up, and she was like, "Oh, I was bitten by a monkey." So that very much happens. Be careful. So after that, we were starving. So we went to this very pretty cafe, and I got coffee, and everyone else got beer. And then we got burgers. I believe this was like a chicken cheeseburger. And our friend got some steak. And then the absolute highlight of this entire day was the chocolate lava cake. If you don't know what chocolate lava cake is, it's basically like a chocolate souffle with like a chocolate core that is like all melted. It's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And this is what the restaurant or cafe looked like. It was really inexpensive and really nice. Yes, Beruts. That's what it was called. And we had to get some gas for our friends on the way back. They are quite literally sold in vodka bottles at times. And then once we got home, we just rested a bit and watched some Mission Impossible, and we also found a cockroach in our bathroom, which was very fun as always. So this is now a very different day in the life, which is in Munduk, which is like in the center of Bali, and I already filmed a room tour on this hotel if you didn't see that already. So we woke up, and of course I had to put on bug spray, and of course it did not help one bit. But yes, this is our beautiful view. It's a gigantic spider, awesome as always. So then the weather was very nice. It is normally very nice here until like 1 p.m. and then it just starts pouring. That's just like the routine that we've gotten with you guys. And then we had some fruit along with some omelet, and there was a weird bug on this toast. I still ate it, but it did creep me out, and it did teach me to constantly look at what I'm eating. So then we had another coffee, and just look at this latte art, like that's seriously talented. Another lizard. And then after that we went on like a coffee plantation tour, because the special thing about this hotel is that it's actually located on a coffee plantation, and they have so much stuff that they grow themselves. This is a bunch of mint, and also cloves. Cloves are very well known here in Bali. So we just went on this tour. It was about 2 hours, and our guide was so incredibly nice. He showed us everything that they grew there, with salad and spices and just everything you can imagine. This was chili, and this was actually stevia. We got to eat the leaf, and it was so sweet. It really did not taste that good. And some rosemary, and of course also some turmeric and ginger. This is lemongrass. Here's the turmeric. You can see by the color. And finally, the coffee. So those little red berries, that's actually the coffee. That's where the beans are stored inside, basically. So later on, we actually did get to eat them. You're not supposed to eat them. You can just like kind of suck on them, if that makes sense. But they taste kind of sweet. So that was definitely very interesting. And then we went on to see how the coffee was then further processed. So it is dried on this rack. And then in here, you could just see all of the processes, like the grading and the roasting and everything, which was super, super interesting. So then we went on into the roasting room, where we actually got a free coffee testing, which was incredibly nice, and we ended up buying some coffee for our families as well. So basically what we tried is looot coffee. Those are animals. Quite essentially, they eat the coffee beans, poop them out, and that is what the coffee is made of. It sounds kind of gross, but it tastes interesting, definitely. Normally you just have to be careful, because those animals are often tortured here to get that coffee. But here there are just wild animals. It was all very ethical, so that was good, definitely. Then, of course, on time it started pouring, but there's something so peaceful about it here, unless you have to go outside, which we totally did. So, it started thundering as well, but I'm personally such a huge fan of rainstorms that I honestly didn't really mind. So we got some umbrellas. Those are literally a staple here. They are everywhere, just distributed throughout the hotel. So we made our way back and kind of waited for the rain to stop a little bit and edited some pictures. And then we decided to go to the tennis court, tennis court, because we found a ball. And we just decided to, just ignore that. We just decided to kind of throw it around a little bit. It was still kind of raining at this point, but we didn't really mind because it wasn't too strong, and we just didn't want to sit in the hotel room all day. So we were just practicing some of our skills. And then we decided to go to the gym. The hike there was already basically the warm-up, because like I said, it's like almost 10 minutes to get there, and then a couple more stairs. But this was such a nice resort. I cannot recommend it enough. It was seriously so beautiful. So the fitness room itself is not huge, but definitely more than enough. I also filmed an ASMR clip here earlier, and then we just went on the treadmill for a quick warm-up and drank some water. And then I just did some compound movements with some dumbbells. Basically, I can't really film that very well. And then we went to afternoon tea. We were all sweaty and gross, but I hope they didn't mind. So this was just fresh lemongrass and fresh ginger tea. And they also baked these really, really delicious oatmeal raisin cookies. So then when we got back to the hotel, we obviously had to use this beautiful bathtub because who would not? That would be a waste. So I put in these, I'm guessing they're Epsom salts, at least I hope so. And it started raining again, and with that overhead window, it was just so nice. So then we went on to dinner, and this was not included in the room rate, so we did end up getting something really cheap. But the seating was just so beautiful. You could definitely tell from the prices that this was a luxury hotel though. So as an entree kind of, we got these free chips. So we had banana and cassava and rice chips, and they made this really good spicy sambal oleg. And then obviously because we are students and don't have much money, we just ordered some pasta. And then when we got back to the room, they had these homemade chocolates, which was so cool, and like a little letter to us about a story. It was so incredible. And then we ended up watching a horror movie too. So this is a different day in our life, and this is actually in Canggu in the southern part of Bali. So I started by bringing my plastic bag filled with a bunch of clothes that I wanted to donate, and we made our way from our hotel to the Bali Children Foundation. And on the way we saw these dogs in cages, and I'm a sucker for dogs, and their water bowl was empty, so we just decided to fill it up, and it was so adorable. Oh my goodness. So we arrived at the Children Foundation, donated the clothes, and then went to this reptile park near or between Sanur and Ubud. And there was this really pretty snake. It's actually an albino snake, and I believe its name was Anya. So he asked if we wanted to hold it, and I said yes, because who wouldn't? I mean, look at it. It was so much fun, and you could actually like feel the muscles. It was very majestic, I would say. So we just walked through the entire park. Here are some crocodiles and some turtles and some more snakes, and we actually went there with some friends. A friend of mine was coincidentally in Bali at the same time that we were, so we decided to meet up there. And she kept asking these questions like, are these snakes found in Bali? And the guide was always like, oh yes. And she was like, are they common? And he's like, yes. And she's like, oh, do incidents happen with people? And he's like, oh yes. So there's that. But our guide was so nice. He kept putting reptiles in my hand, which I found hilarious. And it was just really cool to also pet these animals and see like how tame they were. There was also a giant turtle. He seemed like a really cool dude. So basically we were just walking around with these iguanas and everything surrounding us. They were pretty cool. And this one reminded me of Ice Age. Oh my goodness, it was so cute. Another huge crocodile, and this is the famous Komodo dragon, which is actually very dangerous. You're not allowed on the island, which is Komodo Island, without a guide, because they can actually quite essentially kill you. So, yeah, they're very slow and very majestic animals, but their saliva holds so much bacteria, and when they bite you, that bacteria gets into your body and, like I said, can kill you. So, better to be careful. Then we just found another bunch of huge snakes and another bunch of crocodiles. There are actually also saltwater crocodiles in Indonesia, which I did not know. And then we just made like a quick lunch and drove to the Kuta Mall. So this was like the parking situation, and it was overwhelming. So we did some shopping. Well, not really. We just kind of looked around. These were sadly pretty like Western stores. I did not know that going in. I thought it would be more like maybe a little bit traditional, but this was very Westernized. But it was still fun nonetheless. So then after that, we found this really cool game store, and I would have loved to stop and play, but we were actually planning on going to the movies. So we went to this cinema, and then they told us that there are no movies playing, even though there were. which I thought was very, very good. I feel like the first Orphan movie was better, but this one was also pretty well done if you're prepared for the ending to obviously be unsatisfying. So then the last day in the life that I'm filming started off very fun with this huge jumping spider. This is nothing new to us by this time. We've gotten pretty used to it, so we didn't even try to catch it anymore. But then we just headed on to breakfast. There was this huge buffet, and also we always eat like Indonesian mie goreng. And then we headed on like an hour worth drive north to Nung Nung Waterfall, which is, I think, my favorite waterfall in the entire part of Bali. And we've seen a lot. I think we've seen like 12 waterfalls, but this was absolutely the best. And then we went to the monkey forest in Sangre. I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's the oldest forest in Bali, and the trees are just absolutely huge. We actually loved this monkey forest a lot more than we did the one in Ubud, which is definitely the more famous one. But in total, there are actually 4 monkey forests in all of Bali, and the characteristics of the monkeys, we've been told, are actually very different from place to place. So in Ubud, or especially in the southern part in Uluwatu, the monkeys can be very, very aggressive. We've seen this. We've seen them attacking people if they're not careful. But here, the monkeys were literally the sweetest beings ever. They were so incredibly nice, and that's apparently what they're known for. They're known just to be total sweethearts, which I think is absolutely adorable. So we just spent most of our day here just staring at these monkeys. My boyfriend loves taking pictures, and the monkeys are just very, very good motives, arguably. This little dude was just perched on this railing thing on the gate, and it was just the cutest thing ever. They have like their babies hanging under their stomachs, and there's like a monkey in the background just like swinging on a branch. It's absolutely adorable. I could just watch them all day. You could also take pictures with them, and they were nice enough to actually let me take them for free, and normally that's like a tourist attraction that they expect money for, which was super nice. This was the most hilarious part. Just look at it. What are they doing? I don't know. So this is an example for the pictures with the tourists. So one guide will stand there to make sure that nothing happens, and he'll keep giving the monkey food so that it stays on you, obviously. And it's so cute because they're so hungry all the time, and they actually look into the camera. So for the evening, we just decided to head to a bar that is wildly known in the Canggu area. So we didn't actually eat anything, but we did get some mocktails. So my boyfriend had this kind of spice cocktail, and I had this tropical syrup one, and we just ended up playing some foosball, and then we saw a frog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope